Yo,
Oh,
yo, yo. What's crack-a-lacking? All you beautiful people. Appreciate you joining us for round number 2 of this week here. Had a wonderful show yesterday with Mr. Gary Johnson, the Heavy Haul Hustle from Hustler Heavy Haul. Today we have Trooper Ben of the Kansas Highway Patrol. We are just going to hang out and talk about being a highway patrol state trooper in Kansas. Honestly, no, we're going to talk about safety is a big thing. We're going to cover road safety, holiday season. Lots of people out there traveling, so we're going to touch on that, which is a huge thing in what Ben does in his outreach with the community in the state of Kansas. And we're also going to let him ramble on about whatever he wants to. In the news, we're going to talk about some updates on some regulations, some big regulations that could really, really affect all you carriers out there. So stay tuned. Sit back, relax, pop a top, and enjoy the lounge.
The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.
Mr. Hound, how you doing this lovely day?
doing great, Mr. Potato. How about yourself?
I'm good, bro. I totally freaking dig that hat. I just want you to know that.
Dude, it's a Walmart special, dog. Like
Is it?
it's just a cult classic.
You have to put the flaps down though for it to be the cult
Nah, man.
classic. For it to be the cult classic.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Uncle
yeah.
Eddie. Hold
Yeah,
on,
if you're gonna be Uncle Eddie,
let me
yeah,
rock
exactly.
that real
Yeah,
quick.
that's
There we go. I like that.
that's exactly it, man. Dude, that's like did you, talking about that's funny you wear that hat and it brought us up, man. I saw a TikTok that did you know there is an Uncle Eddie? Well, actually, it's a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation um fan thing or whatever, and they have all these Uncle Eddies come and do like this chorus line and stuff. It's
Really,
over, yeah, it's like in Canada, man. It's so funny, dude.
dude.
But
You know the movie The Big Lebowski, right?
oh yeah, man, you
Yeah,
do,
so
bro.
my uncle Kent, shout out G Kent if you're watching, dude. He used to go to this convention where all these guys would dress up like the dude, and it was just it's so funny, man. I but Uncle Eddie's unmatched. He really had it figured out. He's just a good family man. He's got a couple screws loose in the noggin, but when it comes down to it, he is the epitome of the Christmas spirit.
I agree. I agree. So is Clark. You know,
Yes, Clark
yeah.
Clark Griswold is a man amongst boys.
Man.
I'll tell you that much.
Dude, that was probably one of his greatest characters ever. Chevy Chase played
Oh yeah.
was that.
I mean, outside of Caddyshack, he was
Very
awesome
true.
in Caddyshack. But yeah, Clark Griswold, you can learn something from that guy.
Very true. I agree. But all in all, my day was good, man. I mean, it was pretty busy. Just catching up really mainly on paperwork and getting some credit increases on customers. And yeah, dude, just booked my final load for the day. So
There you go.
um pretty good, man. We
Yeah,
talked about yesterday, just pretty much like wrapping things up for the year, man. A lot of
yeah.
customers like this load I just did. Like this customer, he's like, man, I need to get this out. He's like, this manufacturer, dude, they close Friday and they're not opening until January 2nd. Or he's like, so I need this stuff now. So I was like, all right, brother, cool deal. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I
that's
just
what you know. It's coming from California. So carriers out there, California is like popping right now, dude. Like, man, you look at the graph on the rate data, that thing goes from like this to like that. It has climbed almost $1,000
yeah,
for the
man.
lane that I'm doing it's like $860. It's went up over the last 30 days.
I mean, you're seeing it big time, man. Like I've been on X today just a little bit and been seeing people talk about the rate increases. Like old Jamie Hagan, he made a post. He got a good rip for the first time. And shit. Even talking to TJ today, man. Like the market's coming back. It's going to be in the driver's corner, but obviously, with like brokers and shit, like everybody needs to be conversating about making some money, pushing some funds around. Let's get this economy back on track. But I'm looking forward to it, man.
I am too, brother. I agree. I'm very optimistic. I think most people are optimistic right now, and I wouldn't even say just our industry, man. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that change always comes. You know what I mean, regardless of who is in office. So there's going to be change anyway, and so I think everyone's just looking forward to that, and everyone's just happy, and we'll see. What I also saw today that the Feds lowered the interest rate. I can't remember what the percentage was. It was very small, but they lowered it again today. So we're moving in the right direction, man.
Hey, boys, about
Love
to
it.
be doing some refinancing.
Talking talking about moving in the right direction, man. The only direction that you need to be going in when you need some truck parking is over to the homies at Freight Ninja. You can give them a call, book your spot online, be a code run across the bottom of that screen here in a minute that you can use to get some special rates too.
What's up, Kelly? How you doing today? And then John, just wait, brother. Catch us on our Friday Christmas lounge special.
I don't
Father
know.
Freight might make an appearance. You never know.
Maybe John will make an appearance. John, hit us up in the comments. Let us know
Hey.
if you're gonna come chill with us, homie. Yeah, we ain't seen you in a while, brother. I know you've been busy and stuff, man. So be good to see your face, man, for the holidays and stuff. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And
Good to
hey,
see you.
John, congrats on completing the Lombard 69. Man lost 20 pounds in 2 months.
I
That's
think I
crazy.
think he ended up losing more than that. I have to go back in this
Oh
thing.
yeah,
I
killed
think he
it.
ended up losing like 25 pounds, something like
John's
that.
famous now, dude. He's
He
all
is
over
he
podcasts and
is famous. I know. All because of
hey, never
Shimmy in the
forget your
lounge.
roots, dog. Never forget
Yeah.
your roots.
That's right. Don't forget where you came from, John. Don't forget where you came from. All right, hey, let's go ahead and roll into some news here and get Mr. Trooper on. Sorry, man. My whole thing is messed up. StreamYard's playing games with me again, bro. It's giving me a hard time. All right. With just a few days remaining in this year's fall legislative season, White House Office of Management Budget has released the fall 2024 edition of its twice annual unified agenda. It gives details on status of different rules and regulations that are in the works at various government agencies, including the Department of Transportation. For trucking, the updated agenda offers some insight into when certain proposed and final rules are expected to be published, most notably two rules pertaining to speed limiters and automatic emergency brakes. Those remain on track to publish when they were previously expected. Let's get into it a little bit, though. FMCSA speed limiter notice of proposed rulemaking is set to publish May 2025. Again, no change from that. Proposal is expected to require motor carriers with trucks of a gross vehicle weight greater than 26,000 pounds to be equipped with an electronic engine or that are equipped with an ECU capable of governing the maximum speed of trucks. And so far, there is, I don't think, no set speed limit on that. I believe they were talking somewhere around the like 68, 70 mile an hour mark. So, we'll see where that goes. Additionally, the final rule on the AEBs, the automatic emergency braking systems in heavy trucks, that's a joint rulemaking between the FMCSA and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. That one is also still on track to be published in January. This was directed to Congress in 2021 as part of the Infrastructure and Investment of Jobs Act. The rulemaking is established to help establish performance standards for the motor carrier maintenance requirements. Excuse me, for the AEBs. So this is another pretty big one. These are obviously things that I don't know if they have to be installed on older equipment or if they'll just be grandfathered in. If this would just be moving on or be for everything manufactured moving forward from the time that they make the rulemaking. The final thing that I did want to point out that wasn't one of the big ones, but it's still out there is the proposed rules making on the side underride guards on trailers. Mr. Hound and I talked about this earlier this year when it first broke out that they were making a big thing about this, trying to get the underride guards on the side of the trailers, kind of like the DOT bumpers, that they have in the back to help prevent four-wheelers from underwriting going under trucks, whether it be something of their own doing or of the truck. So that one they are still talking at, and so far no rulemaking on that. So, but it is in there. So there we go. There's some updates on things. Finally, two of the big ones they'll finally get put out there, and we'll know if they're going to force those on the industry or not. And if so, man, can you imagine the
We'll
fight
have something to talk about.
Well,
That's
something to
good.
talk about for months, bro.
Oh.
Drivers, they're gonna. I wouldn't say drivers, but carriers. You know, what I mean, even not if you're just driver. If you own equipment and they put this speed limiter stuff on there, I think we're gonna have.
Dude, it's gonna be a civil war.
Yeah, it's gonna break loose, man.
Yeah, that's not gonna.
It's gonna go break loose. Those
We'll see
those
what happens.
automatic braking things. I mean, I don't know. Those I don't know.
That's just kind of dangerous, dude.
In the trucks, I feel it. I mean, I said I feel it is in my wife's car. I hate that stupid thing, bro.
Yeah, dude, I have that
damn
shit. I
thing-
turn it off, man. I turn it off. Like I try to back out of a driveway that's a little steep and it fucking slams on the brakes, dude. It does probably more damage to your vehicle than anything else. Like, and I'll talk about like just stopping unexpectedly. If someone's trailing you a little bit too close behind, like, and your vehicle automatically brakes, well, shit, dude, you're gonna have a claim on your hands immediately. So it's not gonna be good. And the same with the speed limiters, like, just wear and tear. Trust
I
your
don't
drivers.
think.
Train them
Yeah,
better.
I don't think the speed limiters is going to accomplish what they want. Now, do I agree? Do I think the truck should be going down the highway at 75, 80, 85 miles an hour? No, I
No,
do
we've
not.
talked about that a billion
Yeah,
times,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You don't
Okay,
save any time or you don't
um,
make any ground, really. What is it, like a 30-second difference once you get up to
yeah,
that speed?
yeah. But I'm still not for the government, controlling too much of someone's business, telling them everything they have to do their business. That's just me. I understand the to a limit.
Yeah, if
Just
unless
think
it's a motherfucker that's been in a truck before, but we know
that,
that's not gonna happen
and I
ever.
don't think that it's going to solve the problem that they want it to solve as far as like crashes. You know what I mean? Like I don't. Accidents happen at all speeds. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I don't think it's really going to help. But hey, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, think about it. You can drown in 6 inches of water. You can die if you
Uh,
get hit by a vehicle at 5 miles an hour.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's true, dude. So I mean, we'll see what comes of it. We'll ask Trooper his thoughts on it. Maybe he has
I
some
know he's
input
gonna lay into that.
on maybe
Thoughts exact.
maybe speed limiters and stuff, man. It'd be nice to hear what they think. And the automatic, brake control, So yeah,
Yep.
I hate those things. I hate them. I do not think they're very good.
Sons of bitches. Dang.
They suck. They suck. I'm not a fan of them at all. So all right, brother. Anything you want to add to that?
Let's see. The automatic braking thing has a long way to go. It still hits them hard when someone's getting off the exit ramp and not even in your lane. Yep, John, we'll definitely talk about this shit, man, because that's gonna be crazy. That's the first time I've heard about that actually. But oh yeah. Sorry, Pedro.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
It does. Sorry, John. I was time some. I agree, John. It does have a long way to go. I'll tell you the thing that I hate most about it. My car, and then we'll bring my car, and then we'll bring Trooper on. Is, man, like going around a turn. We have two turns here in close to our house that are pretty sharp. And if there is another car coming at just the right time before I start to take that turn, even in the other lane, it will break the freaking vehicle. And it's happened to me several times just here. Happened to me on a highway, a back road doing like 55 miles an hour. Same thing. Car came around and that radar hit it and it thought it was coming at me and it hit the brakes, dude. And I was on cruise control. So, you know what I mean? It was not a fun thing, but whatever.
Let's bring the man, the myth, the legend.
That's what I'm saying.
All
right, everybody.
Program.
Trooper Ben with the Kansas Highway Patrol.
Dang, you're out there fishing and everything, man.
That's right, man. I'm a people person, man. Gotta please the public.
You
There you
see
go.
what our tax dollar, what Kansas tax dollars are paying
God,
for?
There's people that leave those comments like, what are you doing out there doing that type of stuff? That's what we should be doing. But then when you're out there doing the things of enforcement, like, what are you doing out there? Leave the people alone. It's like,
Yeah, right. They
I
say,
don't know what to do.
oh, that's so funny.
Yes.
Trooper, welcome back. How you doing, sir? How have you been? How things going for you here near the end of 2024?
Hey, things are good. It's the end of my shift here today, so things are going to get really great in just a little bit. I'm getting ready to settle in, put it in park, and get out of this patrol car. Today's been a pretty consistent day, but things are good. I think everybody, though, is like, hey, let's just get to 2025. So put everything on the back burner. I'll get to that in 2025. And it seems like that's what everybody's doing, including me. So things I got to handle, I'm handling. If I can kick it to 2025, I'm kicking it to then.
Yeah, awesome. That's great.
Absolutely.
How far away from you are the house? Like you cover a pretty sizable area, huh?
I mean, I told you earlier during the break and such that, being a state trooper, I got the freedom to go anywhere. So I'm pretty close to the house, maybe about 15 minutes. I just
Cool.
got off the exit ramp, found me a nice little back road here that you don't have people wave. You get stopped and people see a patrol car. Sometimes people are like, hey, I got a question for that person. So they'll wheel up next to me. So I got to find somewhere that gets me away from the general public for this moment so I can focus on you compared to somebody knocking on my window and be like, hey, can I ask you about this? And so I'm about 15 minutes away.
We're gonna have to dig into that after the first
know.
question.
I want to hear something story. I could just imagine. Yeah, I was pulled over by this city idiot about 3 weeks ago, and this way said, "Is this right,
yeah.
sir?" Like, did you talk his
Constantly, man. When I'm getting gas, like I'll get gas to fill up my vehicle, and you can just see somebody like look over, and all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, they've got brave enough to come walking over," and then they've got a question
No
they want to
way.
ask something that occurred to them or somebody they know, or tell me about that. And it's interesting some of the conversations we have outside of this vehicle or when I'm stopped in town.
Oh, we could only imagine.
I know. I imagine there's people in the comment section right now like, I got a question for that guy. See?
It'll
Post
come
it
about.
if you do, and I'll tell you I don't know. I don't know.
He's
So,
like, he's like, I will give you the PR email to the Kansas Highway Patrol. You can submit your questions, comments, concerns to them.
That's right. So
That's awesome. Do y'all slow down a little bit as far as like training and stuff towards the end of the year? Y'all got a lot of that stuff kind of out of the way, school graduations for the
yeah.
academies and everything, and just kind of focused on the day-to-day stuff, or what?
Yeah, I mean, we've got for the Kansas Highway Patrol, we've got about 500. Well, actually, let me back that up. We got about 425 troopers that wear this uniform across the state. And when it comes to training, we try to get all that stuff done before the holiday season because everybody's taking vacation. They're getting away from just the work time like we all are trying to accomplish. So training's finished. We actually had a class graduate yesterday. Our recruit class graduated yesterday. So we've got 21 new troopers out there hitting the road, probably some of them tonight, to go out there and start working with their training officer. And yeah, we're just sort of we're hopefully just coasting. We'll see what the public allows us to do, if we can coast or not. I mean, there's times where it's like today's just I'm not going to be much in enforcing, and then things develop and you're like, I guess I'm enforcing today because you see something in front of you and the public's like, get that thing stopped. So
heard it here, folks. All right. Give all the law enforcement out there a break. All right. They're not trying to ruin your day, so don't be out there ruining their day.
No. I think I used to be a truck guy. I mean, honestly, I was, and every trooper that comes out of the academy, they're truck certified. So I was a truck guy checking trucks and such. But man, when I waved a truck in, I tried to finish that inspection with a clean slate. See you later. Have a good day. Goodbye and safe travels. And now I'm not too much connected with the truck world, other than I just got general enforcements I need to do like I do to anybody else. But there's a lot of good truckers out there, and then there's some that are,
Well, we're gonna dig in. We're gonna dig into that a little bit. I know that's not your main focus now, but not many things have changed in between the time you've done that and where we are.
You sure about that?
Well, yeah.
You're just listing all these breaking things and all these.
as far
check
as
yourself.
like what the bad guys do in the violations, the
Okay.
people always don't fix or let the same things go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's always logs and tires, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
we'll kind of dig into that. And also want to talk to you about the school thing. I don't know if you're involved with that at all. I saw you had posted a couple of the graduates and on. So yeah, I'd like to dig into that and maybe tell people what those trainees are going to be expecting here coming soon. So we got some cool stuff we're going to try to cover here in the next 45 to 60 minutes. So Trooper and get home to his lovely family and drink a cold glass of eggnog or beer or wine or
Oh, no,
tea, whatever it is. Who knows?
not
Uh,
eggnog. I'll probably drink some more coffee is what I'll probably do. But
You've had enough coffee. And hey, and we are going to hear where the best coffee in Kansas is per Trooper. All right. We'll save that. We'll save that to the end. We'll save it to the end because we know we're going to upset some people. And so we want to make sure that even though I promised you we weren't, I think we're going to, especially with the truckers. They're going to be all over you, man.
oh, really?
Yeah. We're yeah. First question that we ask everyone is, who is Trooper Ben, and how did you become Trooper Ben?
My name is Trooper Ben, everybody. I'm a Kansas State Trooper. I've been a trooper now for over 25 years. Currently, my job for the patrol is the Public Information Officer for North Central Kansas, and that would be the Salina, Kansas, I-70, I-135, Big Junction, as we call it there. Anything North Central in that area is where I cover. It's 18 counties. And then in addition to the PIO, public information side of it, I do a lot of public resource side, doing prevention programs, and then recruiting. And then the last thing is just everything on social media. So if people follow me at Trooper Ben KHP, I'll give you a follow back unless you tweet about Justin Bieber all the time. Then I'm going to quickly unfollow you. And that's on X or Twitter and Instagram. Trying to build up my followers. And honestly, it's been very beneficial because people ask me questions all the time. I mean, it's like having a trooper in your back pocket. You're like, hey, I got a question for somebody. Who can we message? Trooper Ben. And then I'll try to get the answers for you about whatever interests you, other than how to get out of an enforcement. I can't do that for you, but
Yeah. So
Just don't break the rules.
that's
just
right.
don't break the
That's it.
rules.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Trooper Ben has rules as for your social media relationship, and he will gladly explain those to you later on. You do have to follow rules. So
That's
but
right.
what we want to know is give us some of the backstory, brother. What led you into your career in law enforcement?
Yeah. Well, my backstory, I was in the Army. So I'm a Michigan guy. And being in Michigan, being a Michiganian, in Michigan, I decided to go in the military. Fort Riley, Kansas was my first duty station. Got to Fort Riley as an M1A1 tank crew member, Abrams tank crew member, 19 kilo on it. Love it. Did that for 3 years. But during that 3 years, I met my wife, decided to get out of that, even though I loved it, and go into something different, which was law enforcement and then the high patrol. So been doing this ever since. Never was a city officer, never was a deputy, just right from the start was a state trooper. And I am loving life because being a state trooper, get to go anywhere in the state of Kansas. I don't have to worry about city limits or county lines. I got state lines, and I like having that big sandbox and playground to go out and do the things we could do out there. So I'm eager, though, I'll tell you this, I'm eager to see what comments are posted on this, to see what people have of me. Because when you get a chance to ask questions of me, and I can't get technical, but I'm eager to learn, listen, and just break bread with those out there because it's important to build bridges, as you say. See what people want to know about me and what's going on out there. If it's our academy, if it's our career, if it's why we do what we do, what are we driving, what are we shooting, whatever gear we got. I don't know. Who cuts my hair? I mean, what do you want to know? Let's talk about it.
Let's start there actually, and then we'll
Who
move to
cuts my hair?
who
Is that
does
what you
cut
want to
your
start
head?
with?
He said the sport clips and Salina.
Yeah, I know.
That's so I mean, all right, you the military thing, and one veteran to another. Appreciate your service, my brother. Thank you
Absolutely.
so very much. Go Army. Whoa.
That's right.
And I know, man, all these crazy people, these Navy people, and all this stuff, man.
And they beat us, man. Navy beat Army this year. Oh,
How
devastating Saturday.
do you think I felt? They not only beat us,
I don't know how that happened.
they
Army's
beat
football
us.
team was rock solid this year.
They beat us wearing my old unit's uniforms.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
that's hard.
so like, dude, that was bad, man. It was bad. But all right. So, being in the military, and you said you that's part of why you went law enforcement. Very, very common thing. I actually myself thought about going into law enforcement. I think a lot of veterans do like that path.
Time out. You still can. We can make that happen.
No,
Hey,
I won't. No. Well, for one,
others in the room are like, no, you don't want to do that.
No. For one, I have a brain injury, so it wouldn't even work. But no, I took a different path, and I think it was for the better. Me, as much as I would have loved to have been out there, I don't think I have all of the characters that a good law enforcement has. One of those being control of my temper. So I don't need to do that. So I'm cool with that. But either way, said a lot of veterans do that, offers that camaraderie and that consistency, that structure that a lot of military people strive for after getting out of the service. But why straight to the highway patrol? I mean, why didn't you want to do like a lot of law enforcement doing and step up or work your way up? Sorry.
I mean, for me, if you're going to go big time. I mean, if you're going to go, let's go to the top. And for me, if the door is open, I'm going to try to walk through it. And in our agency, you don't have to have any type of prior law enforcement experience. You're not a trooper. We're going to build you to become a trooper. And that's what the academy is. Our academy is 23 weeks long. It's very military-like. And there's a lot of people that quit. But if you go through our academy and you accomplish what we ask of you, we're going to build you to become a trooper because you're not in the beginning. And that's what it was for me, is that I decided to take on that task, that challenge, went through that academy, got pepper sprayed, got tased, went through everything and anything that they would ask of me, and exited on the other side of it, getting a badge and now serving after 25 years. I love wearing this uniform, and I love going to work. And I just don't know if that's as accurate for city officers and deputies. And there's, not to say there's not wonderful city officers and deputies. There's wonderfuls out there. But I love doing what I do, and I think troopers love being state troopers, and they fear the day they retire. I know I do. So, I want a big sandbox, a big playground.
All right, I got to ask you before we get into something serious. What was worse, getting tased or getting pepper sprayed?
Man, without a doubt, for me, if I had to do one of the two, if the patrol said, hey, you got to do one of the two again, I would without a doubt take the taser. Because the taser is 5 seconds. It's like a light switch. When it's on, it hurts. But after 5 seconds, it's off, it's done. And you can walk, talk, stand, push-ups. You're fine. Pepper spray, though, woo, that you'll get sprayed with that, and it's a lasting effect. And for the prior military people with, OC and learning about gas chambers and things like that, it's like that. And you feel it for hours afterwards. It's not fun. So
yeah, I got pepper sprayed once in college. My buddy thought it'd be funny to take his girlfriend's pepper spray and sneak attack me after the bar one night. So luckily I was a little intoxicated, so it didn't hurt that much. But my God, I went through about 3 gallons of milk. That was the worst pain. It is knives in your eyes.
It is. I have a really funny taser story from the military. You're gonna like this. You're gonna like this. I don't think I've ever told this story. I haven't thought about it till you just said it.
Put earmuffs on?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is family friendly. So when we were deploying, our unit, the fob we were going to be out was small, so everyone had to circulate to do gate guard, and everyone had to be trained, to do takedowns and apprehensions. And part of stuff you got was, for some reason, they oddly wanted you to have pepper spray and a taser out there in the desert. So we were training it, and everyone put the pepper spray, everything was fine, and people had to go get tased. Everyone's doing their thing, and this one guy was definitely afraid of getting tased. And he, when they shot the prongs, he jumped up, and it caught him in the wrong place on his body, and he went number one in front of like the whole company. It was like 120 people. It was absolutely hilarious. So yeah,
memories, man, memories.
It was memories. It was.
All right, we got our first serious question, but before that, so Shimmy has double dog dared me to get tased. Trooper, I told you I have Metro the academy back here. If I walked in there and asked them to tase me, would they do it?
No, they're not going to do it. But
No.
they're not going to do it. But you might find that they need volunteers at times, and you can volunteer for
Okay.
those type of things. If you just walk in, cold stop them, like, hey, can I do this? They're gonna be like, hell no. But
Okay.
you might find something interesting. We need volunteers, and agencies at times do. With the patrol here, something that we do
Really?
is that we have volunteers that we solicit in our community to come in and do to drink alcohol all day long, and we provide the alcohol. And then what we do is it gives our recruits a chance to do field sobriety tests, and we pay for the alcohol. You show up and
Are you
drink
kidding me?
alcohol all day long,
Where
whatever
do
you want.
Sign up for
And then
that.
Dude,
we
I
do
am
field
going
sobriety
tomorrow.
tests.
What are you
I
talking
know.
about? That's
We
So
We-
maybe in your local backyard they need that, or they need taser volunteers.
all right.
we
Well,
know-
I'm dropping your name. I'm dropping your name. They should
Yeah.
know who you are.
we now know what Trooper Ben's email box is going to be full of tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
How do
Let
I
me sign-
how do I sign up for this
Let
program?
me sign
sir?
up for that right there.
But yeah. So first question from a truck driver from Gerald. Forgive me if I'm botch
Here
your
it
last
is.
name. Doing. As a truck driver, how fast will you let them go before you pull them over? And what is the fastest truck you've ever pulled over?
That is without a doubt. I mean, soliciting the audience, what's going to be questions. I knew that was going to be a question, because that is the number one question that I get every day in uniform when I'm out in the public, is how fast can you go before you get a speeding ticket? And the way I answer that is the way I always answer. You might not like this answer, Gerald, but I'm going to give you as best as I can get on target, is that it varies. I mean, every officer is different. It's day or night. If it's weather and road conditions are different. If you're in a metropolitan or a rural, wide stretch road. I think what our troopers do and what I do is, as officers, they go to work, they turn on their radar, they get a feel of what traffic's doing. And then from there, they decide, hey, this is what people are doing, because everybody's speeding. So now the question is, when are you going to start picking off the ones that are driving well above everybody else and putting everyone else at risk? So you try to decide, okay, this is the magic number for you to make traffic stops, give warnings. And then, hey, this is the magic number for those that I'm going to stop and give tickets. And you go out there and work the road. And I will tell you that Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's is without a doubt the highest. They're flying down the road. We're looking at big triple-digit speeds all the time out there. So on those Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, we're really adjusting what is a typical enforcement time, because we'd be stopping everybody and anything. So we've got to elevate it a little bit and try to pick out the ones that are just driving stupid fast. Gerald, you'll know my limit when I stop you. And it'd be like, well, there's the limit. There it is.
What's the fastest truck that you've pulled over?
The fastest truck. Let me think about that. I had a truck, I think, God, it's been a while, because trucks now are regulated and they just seem to be driving a little slower to be fuel efficient and stuff. But it's been a while. I want to say I had one running 93 one time. Yeah, I mean, it was. I just remember when I turned my radar on. I mean, my radar usually is on, but I've got it in a hold position so it's not transmitting. And when I seen the truck, I mean, I was like, that thing's moving. I mean, I could just tell the way it was separating off of other vehicles, and it was on a downward slope and stuff, but it was moving. And I turned on my radar. Our radar units, when you turn them on, they squeal. They'll have an audible pitch that lets you as an officer know, just without even having to look, just by sound, how fast the vehicle is going. And I just turned it on, and the pitch was like crazy loud. And I was like, oh my goodness. And glanced over and seen it was like 93. And let me wheel that one over and go talk to that person. But it's not typically trucks that are running fast these days. It's those four-wheelers that are driving fast and cutting you guys off and jumping off in the blind spot, or getting in front of you. And then you're having to adjust from your good traveling, getting good following distance and such. So we're at it. We're looking for them.
Do you remember if that truck was loaded or not?
I don't think it was. No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've seen some Amazon and FedEx trucks here in Nashville, Tennessee, running 40. You think they're drag racing, man? They're going like 75, 80 miles an hour. It's scary. It's crazy, but
it was very unique to see that thing at the 93. And again, it was a unique location where it just like the wind, the road, and the vehicle and its load. I mean, it just all matched up to this thing's maxing out, pushing out. And I was like, this is crazy. But hey, that's what we deal with. And it's in those moments that the public wants us to wheel that thing over and talk to them and enforce. You get it stopped at least. I mean, I think
Right.
professional drivers want us to do those things because they don't want to be associated with those others that are doing stupid stuff, making the professional drivers out there look bad out there.
Yep.
So we're going to do our thing.
I like that. Awesome. If I cut out, sorry, apologies, my internet. We've been having issues all week long. There's another fiber company putting in fiber, so they keep chopping our lines and messing everything up. You know how good. So
I don't know.
Let me
I don't
guess.
know. Are you paying your bill? Is that really what's happening?
And you're right, man. You're right. I have that prepaid internet. I have one of those little quarter slot things right here. So whenever it goes down, I just put in another corner.
That's exactly it.
Starts it back up, man. You know. All right. Hey, let's to get back where we were. I think which would be a national or natural transition where we were talking at. But you know, we were talking about why you decided to go with Highway Patrol, and you said, you know, might as well just go big or go home.
Sure.
You know, I love that. And you know, you talked about that y'all don't have that barrier that a lot of other states do with the prior law enforcement. Like here in Texas, unless it's changed when I was going to go in, because my goal was to become a state trooper, because I don't know about there, but also in Texas, that's where you also max out on like pay rate. You know what I mean? Is once you get up to that level. So, but here you had to have 2 years of something, you know, whether it be county, you know, sheriff or local police. So that's pretty cool. I like that because I think the academy, like you said, trains you to be what they need to be, just like the military. That's what boot camp's for. You know, it's there to teach you the things that need to be taught for your job and role in the military. So, what I want to lead with is, you know, with the Highway Patrol, do you feel you have more opportunities with the Highway Patrol than, you know, say a city agency or a county agency? You know, like do y'all have tactical response teams, and do y'all have a lot of the investigative departments and stuff that the other departments do, you know, in case you just didn't want to be out there in a car like, you know, like you are a lot of the time, Trooper?
Yeah, I mean, we do. So the patrol here in Kansas, we have all those diversities of investigators and reconstructionists and government security and aircraft and canine and just a wide variety of different things that we have different avenues of specialties if you want to drill down in a career path. And what's nice is that you're not just doing that in city limits, you're dealing with it in state lines. So when something happens on the other side of the state, you might be requested to respond lights and sirens to get to that unique situation, to handle those unique calls. You know, when you get into a town, again, city officers do wonderful things and they have a good pulse of their community. That's the disconnect that I have, is I don't have common knowledge of who I'm dealing with, because I'm often seeing a person one time and then they're gone out of my life. But you just be able to part of those unique things, and we all want to be, I don't know, notable. Like, man, I did that. I was a part of that. Something's on the news, in the radio, on television. You're like, I was there. I did that. I cleaned that up. I handled it. I prosecuted. I investigated it, and I helped. You know, compared to maybe a city officer and deputy might not have that rhythm or opportunity that presents to them. Certainly depending on the size of their town. But for us, I mean, I've been sitting here for a little bit, and during the time I've been sitting here, I get emails of any chases that are happening in the state of Kansas, and we've already had 3 chases that are happening right now and stuff. Now they're all cleaned up and they're finished now, but chases, we've had a fatal wreck that we've been working on. I mean, just there's things, and troopers go to those things to help out, and it's not typically our dispatch telling us to go. I just grab the mic and say, dispatch, I'm going to that, and it's you self-generate your own activity, so it's wonderful, and very little supervision. I mean, I very rarely see my boss.
That's good though. You know, I mean, maybe some people hear that like, oh, it's a bad thing. And it's like, I mean, I say no. Like, I mean, we trust you to be out there wearing a firearm on your hip and giving you the ability to make judgment calls and make arrests and stuff. Like, I don't think that, you know, you need someone up your rear all day, every day. And I like also that, I think that's good that they allow you to, like you said, generate your own activity. That is good. It allows you to, even though you have that disconnect, to interact with the community and with other agencies in different scenarios and situations, so that I think we were talking backstage about relationships and bridging bridging divides, and I think that's a good thing with y'all too, because I would assume that law enforcement's kind of like military. You have that unspoken little feud. The city cops don't like the sheriff don't like city cops. What I mean?
Yeah. There's a little bit there. I mean, we're all on the same team, though. We know that we banter with each other. But again, being a state trooper, I stop stuff in town. I stop stuff on dirt roads, and then you certainly find us on the big roads. But I like knowing that I can go anywhere. And if I see something in town, I'll wheel it over and talk to them. Or if I happen to be driving down a back road, dirt road for some reason, just to sightsee, like, I'm gonna go see this road. I've never been down this road before. And you come across something. It's like, let me go talk to that thing. So it's nice to have the freedoms to go anywhere.
That is nice. So, talking about the opportunities and stuff, like what are some of the things that you've done over your 25 years with the agency, ending with now with the big things you're involved in the community.
So, I mean, when you come on the patrol, you're going to first start out as a trooper. That's what you're going to do. That's the bread and butter. That's the meat and potatoes. That's what you do, and you're going to get good at that. And then after you've got about 3 to 5 years on in your careers, when you start getting opportunities to branch off and to drill down to something that most interests you. So for me, I was a road trooper for 10 years. And during my 10 years of working the road and doing all the things needed as a road trooper, I started preparing myself for the position I always wanted, which is this position, the public resource, public information officer. And it was really just those two things, working the road to what I am now. There are a lot of our troopers where they'll work the road, then they'll get into trucks and be very focused on motor carrier inspection and over weights, over lengths, over heights, just very disciplined in that ever-changing world with federal regs. And then there's some that do that for some years, tap out and go and do an aircraft, and they fly for us, our helicopters and our planes, or they tap out of that after doing it for 5 years and go into K9. So you don't have to stay in the same fixed position of the patrol. If you want to jump into something else, the patrol's looking for good people to do good work. And if you've shown you can do those things, then we're going to let you venture into that new world.
That's pretty cool. I like it. Again, just kind of like the military, the reclassing your job, as they say. So,
all of our troopers, like I was saying earlier about going through the academy, it's 23 weeks long, just to keep the sort of truck focused a little bit. When they go through the academy, they will be level 3 certified in trucks, because that's one of the things we want to accomplish through our academy. We have a lot of commercial motor vehicles traveling through our state, and we want to make sure that they're safe, and we can identify the things that might be of concern. And then after being on the patrol for a little bit, they're going to get level 2 certified, just because they need that to get their promotion. So they're going to quickly get that course or classwork done to be level 2, and then they can stay level 2 for all of their career. Or if they get into a specialty, they might drop it. And then there are some that get into level 1 with hazmat and such. Our accident reconstructionists are all level 1 certified. So when we have something critical when it comes to a fatality crash with a commercial motor vehicle, every fatality crash involving a commercial motor vehicle in Kansas, the Kansas Highway Patrol has our chart. Our accident reconstruction members go there to reconstruct it, document it, and to give clarity to a situation, so that, in some ways it protects trucking companies. Like, hey, they weren't doing anything wrong. It was the four-wheeler that cut them off or did something weird. So give some clarity to what happened and why. Or we have our accident reconstructionists respond to every critical hazmat type of situation. So we got a tipped over, rolled over, tanker truck that spilled whatever all over. We're going to have chart getting there. And I say chart, our critical highway accident response team members are going to go there. They're all level 1 certified, and they're troopers, and they're very, very good at what they do.
So, staying on this, and then I want to bring back to what you do. Being a public resource officer, that's I know a very important thing to you, and really want us to be able to touch on that. But continuing on this, in Kansas, when your troopers, when they're manning the scale houses, or they're doing the DOT inspections, like, is that the primary focus of their job, or they split time out there in the car working the roads, and then they just work scale houses or do inspections X amount of days, or however? How does that work for them?
Yeah, I mean, for the Kansas Highway Patrol, an easy way to identify how how much they are involved in trucks is it what they're wearing. So if they got a uniform like this, our dress uniform, our Class C uniform, they're more than likely just a level 2. They're grabbing trucks every so often. They're marking the box, making sure that they're handling and sort of staying somewhat proficient with that aspect of it. But then if they're in BDUs, fatigue type of things, they can get dirty and climb underneath. They're all in. So you get waved over by a trooper that says state trooper in the back, and they got BD. They're all in. They know what they're talking about, and they're highly skilled, and they're gonna do what they need to do to make sure things are good, as it should be. I mean, we want to make sure things are safe on our roadways. There's some that are cutting corners, and I don't know. It just puts the general public at risk, including that person cutting the corner. So how do we make people be accountable? Well, we wave them in, we do inspections, and hopefully, like I always try to do, wave you out of there without nothing on the inspection sheet. Because I often heard, and I'm sure it's still today true, that with inspections that are clean, nothing wrong with them, a lot of times people get bonuses or some sort of increase or some sort of thing. You get a clean inspection, the business, the company will give them $100 bonus because they had a clean inspection or something like that. So I was always trying to find opportunities to give those drivers something that was beneficial because I gave them a clean slate.
That's incredible, and I don't know if they do it anymore. They did it when I was a driver. It was a thing. So yeah, and and there are very very important, obviously, to have a clean inspection. You do have some out there that they do the inspections on trucks, and they nitpick and find everything they can, and just instead of giving someone a break over a light bulb, that they could just get the truck stopped, 2 exits down and stuff. So that's good. So what drove you more into the public resource type stuff and not the truck thing? You said we were involved in it more, or at one time, but why this shift over here? You just got tired of dealing with stinky truckers? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, trucks are hard. I mean, the federal regs are changing, and so I mean that book is thick, and it's hard to keep up with all that stuff. And I always had an interest in prevention. I mean, I think it should be the guiding principle of every law enforcement agency is to be preventative compared to enforcement driven. I mean, we need to be making things safe before they ever become dangerous. So prevention should be a very, very big piece of the pie. And that means going out there talking and being visible and educating people about things they should be doing before they get into a bad situation. And prevention is much more rewarding because you're shaking hands and you're kissing babies and you're interacting with people and often creating situations that is very, very joyful. I'll give you an example today. This morning, I had a message yesterday from a lady that was needing a car seat for her daughter because she could not afford one. And I was off duty, so I missed the call, but she left a voicemail, and I could tell that in the voicemail that it was in a very emotional situation. I mean, you could just tell that this person's in distress, needing some assistance, and I think it's embarrassing and challenging for a person to extend a hand asking for help. We all need help. We all are broken. We all fall down, but it's still not easy to ask for help. And she got to the point of she needs help. So she reached out to me. And for me, being in the position I am, I was able to provide her with a car seat at no cost, help her out, get it installed. And in those moments, you get done, give her the car seat. She wants to give me a hug and she starts crying. I mean, it's what law enforcement should be: preventative, helpful, building bridges, not hurting and harming, but helping and mending and doing those things because that's what we want to do. And then there's moments when we got to do enforcement. We're going to do enforcement, but that's because the public wants us to do that. They're speaking out loud and saying, "Get that vehicle, stop that situation." And when we do so, we're doing so professionally, respectfully, and it's why I like the preventative side because I don't know, it's just very, very rewarding every day.
It's like here in Metro, man. They're the guardians of Nashville. Like that's what it should be. They're not
Yeah,
out here. You guys aren't out here looking to just screw
I,
people over. Like you
I,
said before, there are some bad grapes in the bunch, but for the most part, man, like just that story right there, giving a car seat to a woman in need for her child, like
yeah,
that happens so much more often than not, and you guys don't get enough credit for it.
Well, we are absolutely. I tell you, our officers, our troopers, are writing way more warnings, or just giving, as we say, verbal warnings, just talking to a person. That is so much bigger of what we do than when it comes to the enforcement of giving out tickets. I mean, we will write tickets,
Yeah.
but it's what I would say is our troopers are always looking at what would the public want me to do.
I
If the
feel like that's
public
more
was,
effective though,
it
because
is.
if I get a warning rather than a ticket, if I get a ticket, I'm gonna be mad, you know. But if I get a warning, I'm gonna be like, "Ooh,
That's close.
oh man,
Yeah.
like I don't want to do that again," you know, because
I,
it's like the what could be rather than, you know,
yeah.
man, I have to go to court or I have to pay this money I don't have. Which I mean, obviously that's necessary at some points, but
It is. I mean,
it's
we should have. We want to get compliance. I mean, that's the goal, is compliance.
right,
When it comes to enforcement of a violation or law or whatever it is, vehicle equipment, we want compliance, because the state statute, federal regs say, here's the standard. We need to get you to be compliant. So how do we get compliance? Well, it might be just me being around you. I mean, and I say that meaning that when you're sitting at a traffic light and a stop sign, and you look left and then you look right and you see the trooper over there, you're like, oh, and you slowly grab your seatbelt, you become compliant just by my presence. So that might be the lowest level
or
of
even if you're
enforcement.
sitting behind me, man, the first thing I'm
I
thinking about
know.
is my car registered? Even though I could have got it
Yes.
done last week, but you know, is it registered? Is it
Yeah.
up to date? Am I wearing my seatbelt? Do my blinkers
Yeah.
work? Like, are my tires up to date? Like,
Yeah.
it's
So I mean,
there's a
that
lot of
compliance of us being
yeah,
visible is the lowest level. But then it might be, I got to talk to this person. Let me wheel them over. Me
right,
talking lower level. Hey, I'm going to give you a warning. That's a low. Hey, reading the situation and what I know of the moment, hey, this might mean that I need to give a ticket out, or maybe I need to make an arrest. But you should always be the goal that the lowest level of enforcement is needed to get a person to become compliant, and that should be the goal. I mean, tickets aren't fun, and they cost people money. And in today's world, and we got things to pay. Holiday season, you're thinking of gifts and just, I mean, survival of today's world. It's not easy to get a ticket, and that's just like the fine side of it. You start taking people to jail and stuff, that creates a bind in a person's livelihood. So in those decisions, and when we make arrests, we need to make sure we do so, because, as I always say, would the public want me to do this? Does this
right.
situation warrant it? Does this situation require it? So
And then you got people coming up and knocking on your window when
yeah, I
it's
know.
on
No,
the
no one yet, but again, I picked a pretty good spot, so I think I'm set.
How often does that happen?
Oh man, oh man. I mean, it happens often, and it's so, there's times where I might be on a laptop and I'm deep in a paperwork, working on a report, and they'll knock, and it scares it scares you, because you're so in the
Yeah,
zone that your officer presence, you failed at a moment. You should be, on a swivel, always looking to make sure things are safe, but you have moments where you're just in a zone and you're on something, and then you get the knock and you're, oh my goodness. So if you ever
I'll
have
tell you.
that moment, man, just
That
make sure
that
you
just cracks
stand.
me up, man. It brought a story from it just brought a memory back to me back when I was in high school. Me and my buddies, this was back in my Wilder days, but yeah, I was like 16 or 17, and we went out and we toilet papered a golf course. And
Yeah.
so I parked my truck in some undeveloped neighborhood right behind there, and we, went running across the par five and pulled up, and wouldn't you know it, there's a Douglas County sheriff sitting right there. So my buddy Caleb thinks it's a great idea to go up and knock on the cop's window and say,
Oh,
"Hey, sir, is there anything we can do for you today?"
yeah. Did the
Well,
officer see him coming up?
I was with him. I was with him. I said, "You're an idiot," but he had called because I parked my truck back in the woods, so he called my pops up, and yeah, so that cop was cool. We only ended up having to go and clean up the golf course the next day, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's ever a good idea to go up and knock on a cop's window unless you pull a Hunter Shear from Truck Parking Club and then you pull up in front of a state patrol officer and go hand him some papers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Hey, question here from Shimmy Munson. What's up, Shimmy? She's asking about the woman that you got
Can I give a car
the
seat to you?
yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, I have
He
her
said, "Are you
connection.
able to get a hold of her? She wants to donate a gift for her children for Christmas.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, as I always have people do, reach out to me on social media. If it's
Yep.
Instagram, it's Trooper Ben KHP, or if it's on X or Twitter, it's Trooper Ben KHP, and we can connect the dots because I certainly know the contact information of that individual. And I told her specifically today to keep my contact information so that if she ever needs anything in the future, she can
Awesome.
reach out to me and stuff. But there's a way to connect the dots. So if you're wanting
Yeah.
to further help, then we can make something happen for
Awesome.
this lady.
Yeah.
There you
Hey,
go.
Jimmy, go on X. Trooper Ben is on X at Trooper Ben. That's awesome
KHP.
shit. Man. Yes.
KHP.
That's right.
Hey Ben, the true Ben, talk. Get back to the preventive thing. You know, you were talking about how the being out there face to face. You know, and that's a part of your prevention of whatever. You know, we're talking about also compliance and just being part of the community. But you know, can we pull it over to? You had mentioned the seatbelt, ironically, when you were given an example. You know, like, hey, just me being there, and you may grab your seatbelt.
Yep.
I know that is that's a big thing for you. You're a huge advocate for that. You have stuff all over your social media of you at different events with the machine and stuff. So you know, like why the seatbelt? You know, if not for obvious reasons, but you know, is that to you the biggest preventive measure in a lot of these accidents and saving a life? Is a seatbelt? Is that just the simplicity behind it?
I mean, I've always been a seatbelt person, and I hope others would wear their seatbelt. For me, it's something I've always chosen to do outside of a law, but I guess it becomes very quickly important when you're at these crash scenes. You see it, and it's not about a law. It's not about government telling me what to do. You quickly recognize, man, I need to wear my seatbelt because of the choices of doing so or not, and what can occur with that or not. So that's why I post about it all the time. I always tell people, man, if you would have a chance just to be with me, stand next to me as I arrive on scene, and you do nothing other than just stand next to me as I walk a scene and handle and investigate a crash, I'm willing to bet that after the things you see, the things you hear, the things that you might be touching, that you would be wearing a seatbelt. And it would be real quickly very visible in hearing, and all the senses would be like, man, I'm doing this. And then you'd be standing on the soapbox like I do at times of how important it is, because you know, I say this, you can't control the other driver, and you can't control their vehicle. You can only control yourself and your vehicle, so you better be damn good at controlling yourself and your vehicle, and that starts with a seatbelt, because how much distance separates you from a vehicle going the other direction? I mean, on the interstate, there's a little bit wider, but on most roadways, there ain't much room from us passing by someone else that's fatigued, distracted, impaired, whatever it is. And quickly, things can change for you, and you can't hit pause, time out, let me put my seatbelt on. You're going to want it. I know you'll want it. You will want it. Seatbelts have a much more beneficial thing for you than what some would say is, oh, I'm concerned that fire or water and I can't get out, I'm going to be trapped, or, you know, so I don't know, just all the other things that people say about seatbelts that are on the negative side. You put it on a scale, I mean, that negative side is just going to lose significantly to the beneficial side. It's going to drop so fast that the scenarios that might play out are on the likely of benefiting you. It's why I always do. So
Yeah, uh, like that. Over the course of your 2 decades doing this, you know, I mean, what have you seen more people not wearing their seatbelt, or do you think the motoring public has gotten better about wearing their seatbelt?
yeah, I can speak to Kansas first off, and I certainly would think that this is probably very common for other states as well. But the usage rate's been going up in the nation and in Kansas for every year. It just slowly goes up, little, and we're not talking percentages. We're talking like point something now, and we're trying to get to the last group of individuals that aren't buckling up. And to be honest with you, straightforward with you, the hardest population, the biggest demographic, the group that we are having to struggle and trying to get those individuals to buckle up are men in pickup trucks. I mean, if you want to be straight down, and that's the
Really?
audience. If we can get them to
Really?
buckle up more, their usage rate would increase across our nation, and including in Kansas, especially when you get to rural areas. So
Yeah.
I would imagine the same is true for Texas or Georgia or anywhere else. Is that ruralness, men in pickup trucks? That's the audience that never did. I'm driving just the country roads. No one's out here. All the things that they say. Well, there's other moments where you're going to want it, and maybe it's not just all about you. It's about who you're mentoring. There's others that are watching you, and they're picking up on what you do and don't do in a vehicle, and it's going to matter for your loved ones when something develops for them in wearing a seatbelt or not, because of the habits that you've shown them. I mean, it's important. So
That was a good psychology trick there, Trooper Ben.
was it?
Love how you did that. I love how he's like, oh, let me pull the role model card too. Well, right? I love it. I like, no, it's very, very true. Very true. So
Yes.
hey, now, all right, keeping on, I would say the preventive thing, but more like the traffic stuff. I mean, what are some things that you feel other than the seatbelt, are maybe pet peeves with you, or you feel that like are more dangerous than other things, the close following, obviously speed, but what are things that, like, when you see people out there on the road do other than the seatbelt, it's me like, man, I've got to have a talk with this individual. We cannot be having, someone act like this out on the roadways.
Well, I mean, certainly seatbelts are my staple. That's my background. Everybody knows me for that. But I mean, other things that are great concerns is what you and the public sees, which is people driving really, really fast. So following the COVID years, people are flying down the road. We're having troopers writing tickets well over 100 miles per hour every day on our state, and I'm sure other states are seeing the same thing. I see the reports. So traveling really, really fast, and that's willful. You're willingly doing these type of things, putting yourself and others at risk as you're whipping by them really fast to get to your destination. So that is a big concern for me and across the nation. And I think, safety agencies are freaking out at how do we correct that? How do we change that mindset? Because it doesn't seem to be getting better.
Where do you think that comes from? I mean, like, because like this is a good one, the driving fast, because I mean, cars haven't really gotten much faster. Maybe faster 0 to 60, but we've always had cars that'll do triple digits. About the only thing that's changed other than generationally is speed limits. I mean, so like, what do you accredit to? Do you think it is a bad habit thing, kids didn't seeing too many race car YouTube videos, or is it the speed limit gets heightened so people are like, oh, now I have a bigger threshold to speed or something,
10 miles over.
I think following the COVID years, the thought across the nation is why are people driving so fast, is that during the COVID years, there's nobody on the roadway, so I can drive really fast, and it's just carried on. Or there's no officers out here because they all are quarantined and they're not out here, so I can do whatever I want. No one's going to catch me. And the thought is that it just carried. And you think COVID years, 2000, 2001, things like that. But it's carried, and people have just sort of had this thought that they can keep on doing just that. I don't know if everybody has the answers yet, and we're trying to figure that one out. What do the viewers that are watching right now think is the issue? I mean, there's a comment box, and it's important for me to serve, but it's also very important for me to listen and hear what the public thinks is the concern of why people are driving so fast.
I think we need an Autobahn.
You think? I mean,
I think it'd be cool.
I tell you what,
I mean, people are going to speed either way, but
we have one. We have one here in Texas.
Texas is the only state that has the 85.
I'll tell you. You want to know what I think it is, Trooper? And this is it is how safe vehicles are now. I'm serious. And here's my logic behind that is cars now, we talked about earlier, the automatic braking system. You have, I mean, airbags that surround you, all these contraptions and things that make cars safer. They're all great. Exactly. Keep it in your lane. Blind spot assist,
even with cruise control in my Jeep. I have they call it the eye in the sky.
I hate that.
I could set that auto or the cruise control. I don't trust it. I've never used it one time.
I just don't like it.
It can trail you For a certain
No,
distance, I can
yes.
get closer
It-
to cars, I can get
Yeah.
further behind
Yeah.
cars, but
No,
I'm
I just
no
don't like it
good at
because I set cruise control and like I set it just going with the flow of traffic, and then you don't realize sometimes that you're slowing down slowly, and then you look at it like, shit, I'm doing 65. Like, but anyway, so my thing is all of these things, I feel that it gives people a false sense of security. You know, I mean, it's like, oh well, if I get in a wreck, I got all these airbags, even the blind spot monitoring, like my wife's car, she has a CX5, and like you can't see out the blind spot unless you move your head around because the way the pillar is in the back, like you almost have to have that blind spot monitoring system. But that's what I think. I think it's the level of safety is done great. It saved people's lives, but it is given people that, I wouldn't say Superman complex, but you get what I mean, Trooper.
Yeah.
I mean, but look at people with Teslas now. They got autopilot on Teslas.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
I think
Like,
that stuff is absolutely dangerous. Like
Yeah.
that is like we should not no because people abuse it. They already have. I mean, like they have.
What are your thoughts on that, Trooper Ben?
I think that, Tesla, everybody thinks Tesla and their autopilot type abilities, but honestly, it's not just Tesla. I mean, Ford has what is referred to as Blue Cruise. So it's the level above adaptive cruise control. We had cruise control, adaptive cruise control, and then they have the next level, Blue Cruise. So no hands on the steering wheel. And then Cadillac has the same thing, which is Super Cruise. So they're all sort of expanding and developing. I guess my opinion on that is that I don't have all the facts, and that I would hope that those that have all the facts are guiding us to a safe place, and they're slowing us down with technology if it's not where it needs to be implemented in society. Um, and I hope that those that have all the information are making good, sound decisions. They're not moved or motivated by lobbyists or other individuals to say, yeah, let's make that happen because of who's backing them for reelection. It's important for the public to be educated and be able to speak their truths. And you're talking about that auto braking and things like that, and the speed regulators and things like that. In today's world, what we do is we're just trying to survive. So we go to work, we're trying to get a paycheck, we're paying our bills, and we're trying to see our family. And we hope these elected officials are making decisions that are bettering us, making our society safer. And I hope that's the case. And we sort of elect them, and then we're like, man, I hope they're doing what they're doing for us. And I think we need to do a good job or a better job of listening and learning so that we can speak to these elected officials and hold them accountable to the things that we do want, if it's braking on semis or speed regulators, so that they're making the decisions that the public wants. That's what I think.
Uh, that's a good point. That is a good point. A lot of these things are passed down by people who are just making the rules for how they see everyone should have it. Especially when it comes to like vehicle safety and stuff like that, and add-ons and things like the Blue Cruise and the Super Cruise, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, good stuff. But I don't know. It just to me we talk about the preventive thing and highway safety, which is where I kind of want to end this conversation here the last 10 or 15 minutes. But like I said, I just feel like it gives people a disconnect
I agree.
from driving the car. I mean, it is, and it's the same thing with driving a truck, with that whole, even if they did the Blue Cruise style on like a truck, but just cruise control without the hands-on stuff, like still that's a disconnect, and driving a vehicle, whether it be a car or a big truck, you're still going down the highway with several tons of metal, that, the wrong thing could happen. It could hurt you, could hurt someone else. And you need to be focused. It is a serious thing. And one other thing I think also, Trooper, is I feel that driving isn't a privilege anymore. You know what I mean? It's like most states now, you don't have to do a driving school. You just reach a certain age, you pass the test, and boom, you get your driver's license. That's just the think of it. So I also think possibly that could be part of it.
Well, again, back to the topic of making sure that our elected officials are guiding our driver's license and how one gets a driver's license in the correct ways. And if we in society don't think that the way you get a license is the way it needs to be, then hopefully we make some changes to accommodate what is correct for your space. And your space might be different than my space because of the population and distances and terrain and different things. But it's important that we try to get involved, but we're balancing. I'm trying to put food on the table for my kids, and I'm trying to go to their sporting events, and I'm trying, I don't have time to read and learn about what my legislator is doing on my behalf. And I think that gets to be challenging. So,
All right, can y'all hear me?
I
Yes.
can.
Okay, all right. Sorry, my soundboard died, so I was like, "Oh no, do I
You
have
didn't
my-"
Oh,
pay.
no.
You didn't. You need to put another quarter in the machine.
Pay your
Yeah,
bills.
you're fading on your end over there. Internet technology. I'm waiting for your lights to start fading out.
Yeah, right. I wish I had a dimmer switch. I'd get my wife to do it.
I know.
just for the theatrical effect. All right, hey, so let's end this on the road safety stuff. That was a big reason that I wanted to have you on here. You being highway patrol, and as you had mentioned several times, you have the ability to cover large areas, so you see drivers in a variety of settings on the highway, on city streets, back roads, stuff like that. So, what are some tips or some advice that you want to give people specifically as we're moving into the winter season here? And there's more travelers on the road. What things do you want to say to people that you think are important while they're out during the winter driving season? And like I said, especially traveling right now during the holidays.
Yeah. I mean, as I said before, wearing your seatbelt is the first point. Get in your vehicle, put your seatbelt on, get ready for the battle of the environment and the other competitors on the roadway with you. That's the first thing. And then, as we get into this winter season, and for some areas they've already experienced some of the snow. I mean, to be weather aware. I mean, you need to be mindful. Do I want to dance with Mother Nature today? Because Mother Nature might win, and it might be better just to park and hit a timeout, get a nice sleeper berth, find a nice little spot to settle in because the snow will move past, the blades will clear the roadway, and then you'll be able to up and run again. And pick your battles. I mean, we push ourselves too much and try to find these alternate routes that maybe aren't as nice because the big road is shut down. And then you get yourself on these other smaller back roads, and those back roads aren't bladed, aren't salted, and there's just a lot of other traffic trying to get around, and you're putting yourself at risk. And it's going to cost a lot of money when you put yourself in the ditch. So, to pick your battles, be weather aware, and know those contact numbers. So if it's for the High Patrol, star 47 is our number to the High Patrol here in our dispatch center. Most agencies across the nation is star 47 or star 55. So star HP or star 47. I mean, one of the two is more than likely going to call your state patrol, and you can tell them where you're at, what's going on, and how you need assistance or how someone else needs assistance. And be safe, man, because it gets crazy out there, and the snow is going to start falling, and people are going to start sliding, and next thing you know, they're in the ditch, and they're thinking, "Man, I wish I wouldn't have done this."
You're very right,
Yep.
very right. I love. Thank you for giving that advice on those numbers. That was actually something I was going to ask about along or with this question here. Is y'all in Kansas, y'all do experience some significant snowfall at times. Y'all do get some good winter weather, especially strong wind gusts and good snow drifts on the side of the highways there. Any driver that's driven through Kansas, especially, can see the drifts on the highway. So, are there things that y'all put out every year to the motoring public, about to be prepared, like having blankets or maybe extra fuel or making sure your spare tire? Like, are there any of those tips in case you do get caught in something or run into something, you can be okay until Trooper can get to you from the other side of Kansas?
Yeah, I mean, certainly making sure your vehicle's ready. So your good tires, they cost a lot, but man, having good tires, making sure your fluids are good, all your belts are good, your phone's charged, you know your route, you've communicated to other people what the route is. So if you don't make it to your destination, we know where to look for you. And then, Western Kansas, especially I-70 Western Kansas, that, man, you get west of Salina, that's where we start shutting things down, because from Denver to Salina gets to be a little bit of a desolate, not many hotels. So as hotels start booking up and filling up, we're going to start backing up the interstates and shutting down the interstate to make sure people have a space to sleep. outside of their truck, as well as to eat and get fuel. So I just really want to stress being weather aware and following people on social channels. I mean, I have people during the wintertime that are reaching out to me, and I'm educating them about what's going on in our state and if there's other alternate routes that are better for them. So figuring out who those main players are in each of their states, if there are states they frequently travel, so they can reach down and drill down and have direct conversations with somebody that can educate you about what might be best for the moment they're in. Here, another thing, I think about this. We have every so often, last year, 2 years prior to that, people getting out of their vehicle during big snowstorms and they die. They get out and they go walking down the highway thinking they can get to the next exit ramp or something like that, and they die. They freeze to death. Man, I tell you what, having a phone in hand, making sure it's well charged. If you ever find yourself in a snow bad situation, it is better to stay in that vehicle. More than likely, a first responder is going to be driving up and down that roadway, even in the most desolate, bad situations, to try to figure out who needs help, checking on those vehicles to get people out of those vehicles, to get them somewhere safe where they're warm, compared to getting out and trying to walk to the next exit ramp. That's when things get really, really bad. And we've had people, die in our state because they think they know where they're going and they get lost.
So it's important stuff. It is for everyone out there on the road, whether you're a driver or just in a car. And we've all heard of instances like that of what you're talking about, people getting out of their vehicle, and trying to walk because the phone is charged, they have no signal and such. So, and I think being prepared is a big thing. We keep first aid kits in our stuff, and we keep extra power. We make sure our phones are charged, and tires are aired up, and spares and all that stuff, and tanks are full, especially if you're traveling through places like Kansas. Like you said, you get into western Kansas, man, like stops are far and few between. And even further on, even as you get into Colorado as well, between there and Denver. Again, as you said, not a lot of places stop, and there are plenty of places like that in the country. And cell signal could be intermittent out there, so definitely want to be prepared. Do y'all require y'all don't require chains there in Kansas, do you, Trooper Ben? Do drivers need to be specifically prepared or have anything for the winter season for you guys there in Kansas?
No, we don't have to have chains. No, they're not required. You can run chains though, but we don't honestly, I don't see many people running chains these days because it's a lot of work to get them on. So people are just making choices. They forget it. I'm going to park and wait where I can get traction again, compared to putting on the chains and trying to get down the road. But you can run chains in Kansas. I just stress the importance of making sure you're weather aware, picking your battles, because Mother Nature can swing pretty hard at times, and you're going to get knocked down and blasted by Mother Nature, because she wins at times, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. So picking those battles are pretty important.
Those wins y'all have in Kansas are it can be atrocious, man. Especially out there in West Kansas. It is it's wild.
That's when you see, when you start seeing that extreme weather chaser Reed Timmer, watch out, man. If you see him, you're in the wrong place. Get out of there.
All right, True, before we give you a chance to close out with some things, anything that you want to talk about, maybe recruiting stuff or any other initiatives that you want to get out. Hunter, do you have anything that you want to ask our good friend here?
Nah, man, this has been an excellent conversation. It is definitely still insane to me that people just come up and knock on your windows, and crazy to hear that some of the people do the things they do. But I did find out about me going and doing the field sobriety test for Metro. They call it bartenders with badges, and I will be doing that.
That's right.
Yep. So stay
tuned. There's gonna be a mass sign up all of a sudden because of this moment. People are like,
that's crazy to me. But I think it'd be cool though. That's just the intro. I just want to, let me ride a motorcycle. Let me do some donuts in the parking lot. Who knows?
It's pretty sweet. Well,
yeah, it's cool. But Ben or Trooper, I definitely appreciate what you do, man. You are a absolute star-studded representation of what a good police officer should be. You are an absolute icon. You're what's what I'm looking for? You're
hyping me up, man. But
it's real though. It's real. It's cool as fuck. Sorry to cuss. I know you don't like that too much. I got in trouble earlier for that. I mean, dude, going to the football games, man, educating people,
Oh, we
giving people
forgot
a
to talk about
chance
the
and
football
helping the
game.
community.
Dang
So
it. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you about that. Darn it.
I
we'll
know.
see him. We'll see him out there, man. I have looked for you on the sidelines. I haven't found you yet, but
I tell you, at K-State football games, Kansas State University, one of the best universities there are. Yeah, K-State.
All right, bye, Trooper. All right,
wow.
join
I
us.
know K-State, but
Hey, K-State
when,
won me some money this year. I'll
I
tell you
tell
that
you.
much. But
K-State's where it's at, but that's one of the benefits is usually troopers walk out on the field with the head coach. So that's one of the tasks that I am honored to do. So anytime Coach Kleiman, K-State walks out of the field at home games, I'm right next to him. And I get to walk out there. It's
that's
it's
sweet.
interesting to listen to the conversations that are being had on the field with the
Have
players.
you had some Gatorade dumped on you?
I have not, and I am looking left and right for that moment because I don't need that on this uniform. But to put a bow on this, thank you guys very much for inviting me. I guess my closing remarks are to make sure people are safe. I mean, first responders, law enforcement, we want to serve you proudly. I mean, it's my goal to go out there and try to make you proud of me. And that means at times providing enforcements. And I do so when the public wants me to do those things. I'm not seeking it out. I'm not. I don't get nothing. I don't care. I mean, I'm doing what the public wants of me. So I hope you're proud of first responders. I hope you're proud of certainly the Kansas High Patrol, and I certainly hope you're proud of me for this moment. Follow me on my social channels. Search Trooper Ben. You're going to find me. And I more than likely will follow back. So it's been great.
Awesome.
Make sure you send him all the Justin Bieber YouTube videos.
Yes.
You'll get blocked.
He loves Justin Bieber.
You'll get blocked. I'll see it just for a brief amount of time, and then I'll never see it again.
Well, what's your takes on Taylor Swift? Is that your next exodus?
Yeah.
That's a good.
I'll tell you.
Trooper man, we really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. We will definitely have you back on again. Love the relationship that we're building here. It's good to talk to you, and we hope that you enjoy being out here and doing what you like to do, and that is facing the public and doing that with us. And so, yeah, thank you so much. And if we don't talk to you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We hope that you are safe out there on the road as well. As much as you want us to be safe, we also want you to get home to your family. That is important to us as the people who I guess employ you. We want you to get home safely from your job. So
I appreciate that. I mean, like I said in the morning at the start of this, I mean, I'm about to get home. I'll be out of uniform, out of this patrol car in just a little bit. And the next big heavy lift for me is I got a big sink full of dishes that I got to wash.
Nice.
Because I'm dish day. Today's my day. So I'm going to go be doing some dishes in just a little bit because I'm an average person like everybody else.
But Trooper, you have a wonderful one. We're going to close it out. You can stay with us if you want to while we make this close in comments. Hunter, do you have anything you want to say before we do this final sponsor break and get out of here?
No, sir. Catch us on Friday for the Christmas special.
That's right. So all you lovely, lovely people out there, so you don't have to be like Trooper Ben here, parked on the side of the road.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. I know. What an example. No, park on the side of the road and risk people coming and knocking on your windows, or maybe getting a ticket from a highway patrolman in another state. You need to be doing business with Freight Ninja. Get yourself somewhere where you can park your vehicle safe and secure. And if you use this code, it's going to be scrolling across the bottom of the screen and get yourself some special rates. All righty, everyone. Appreciate y'all joining us. Hope you enjoyed listening to Trooper Ben there. We will definitely have him back. He's a wonderful gentleman, as Hunter said he is a shining representation of what law enforcement should be, and law enforcement community, and especially the Kansas Highway Patrol. They're extremely lucky to have a man like that wearing that badge, and we surely thank him every day for being out there doing what he does to keep everyone safe in the state of Kansas. Like Hunter said, Friday, Christmas show, last show of the year. Freight Ninja is going to be on with us. We're going to bring some of y'all on. We're just going to hang out and have a good time. And
You see that ugly Christmas sweater? That's a little nugget.
that thing is cool, bro. I love that
It is
sweater.
so
That
bad.
thing is so fucking cool, man. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful evening. If you're on your way home, please drive safe. If not, drive safe when you are on your way home. And we will see y'all Friday afternoon. So I would say, chunk the deuces. Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage.
Bing
The
bong.
views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.